and good afternoon, Eric. I'm here with Eric, 4Z1UG, and I'm really glad he's got his call sign on his screen here because I always forget. And it's not like I work Israel all the time on
Yeah, but who
HFTs.
can remember yours, because it has your initials.
My wife finally can.
She finally can, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I should ask my wife if she remembers mine.
I bet she does.
She may.
So Eric is the instigator, the chairman, or whatever you'd like to call yourself about the QSO Today Expo. We had one back in August and early August, and we've got another one coming up in March. And I wanted to bring Eric on board to bring us up to speed. You've made a bunch of changes. I mean, we've had a lot of meetings with them as the sponsor we are, so we've seen some really cool stuff. So Eric, you loved the last one; it was great. And what are we going to do different for this one?
So I loved the last one. I thought it was great. It had never been done before, at least the way we did it. But what I've said before is that I'm looking at the dashboard last August and seeing that there's 14,000 people on the platform, but I myself didn't feel them. So after the expo was over, I spent I spent the most of August trying to clean up the leaderboard contest, and then September I started looking at new technologies. And what I wanted was a virtual platform where I could feel that the people were actually there, and that I could actually have conversations with strangers. I could run into people. I wanted that, like, that hallway experience. And so I looked at a lot of platforms. I tried them out. I went to a lot of virtual conventions, and I found a product called AirMeet. And so AirMeet is what we're merging with the platform that we used last time. So we have the visual eye candy of the outside lobby of the parking lot with the people walking around. We have the lobby, the inside lobby with the people walking around. We have the virtual exhibition hall with the booths, but we also now have lounges in each of the booths using this AirMeet product. So these lounges have. Would you like me to show you there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I will share my screen
So
here.
So what's Eric's gone to, and he was explaining this to us yesterday too, is that you can sit there and meet with 3 or 4 or 8 people, type of thing. Let me know when you want me to publish this and send it up.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's
Here
ready.
we go. And
Okay, so this is kind of what the main lounge looks like. Now this is a version. There's three different versions. This is a version I've got open right now, for open house, so that people can come in and they can talk with us and see who's there. Right now, I'm the only one there, but as you can see, the lounge has tables, and the tables have chairs. And if you put yourself in a chair, then if somebody else comes and put themselves in a chair, if there's two people at the table, then it opens up a video conference, and it'll open up to 8 windows, so you can occupy each table with up to 8 people. Even if a table is marked with 4 chairs, for example, you can pull up a fifth chair and have as many people. So we'll have 200 tables in our main lounge, and then every booth, the Flex Radio booth, for example, will have 6 tables in it. So the tables could be divided by subject or product line or who's sitting there. Maybe if Gerald's in the booth, he can have his own table and he can talk to people that want to come and speak with him at his table. And then over on the right here, I wanted, again, the feeling that there are people on the platform. So this is where you'll see all of the icons of all the people, and people can use their picture on these icons. So if there's 10,000, 20,000 people, they'll all be in this column, and you can find them by call sign and by name, and you can say, hey, go to table number 57 and let's have a conversation. The other thing,
that's really
Mike,
cool.
is, yeah, the other thing is there's this speed networking area at the top. So if you enter the speed networking, then you'll randomly collide with whoever else is speed networking. So you can meet strangers on the fly.
Something like we do at Dayton all the time when we're
That's
commenting and
exactly
stuff. We
right.
can jump
You're
by.
walking between buildings and you run into people.
Yes,
So that's
that's
the
really
idea here.
that's really slick. And yes, we will actually have Gerald at a table, and you can come and talk to him. And I believe Steve Fix or CTO type of thing. And So that'll be different, and we've I think was it you that gave us the number of the number of hams in the world that have never been to a large hamvention?
Well, we found when we did our survey of the 16,000 that came and the 25,000 that registered, we found that 9,000 of the people that came to our last expo never go to major expos like Hamcation or Dayton Hamvention or the summer one in Knoxville. So this is what we discovered. But we also discovered that 40% of the people that came to the last QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo never go to ham fests or local conventions. So virtual is a great way for those people to kind of get great presentations and also to meet the vendors. In addition, we've discovered that 20% of the people that came to our expo were new hams who might be a little, gun shy to go to a live exposition of hams because we can be an intimidating crowd, perhaps. So it was a great way for them to get their feet wet and try new stuff.
Yeah, I didn't realize it till the first time I went to Dayton, and then the reason the first time I went to Dayton was to go through the flea market and find stuff. And then, oh wait a minute, there's all these talks, and where we have an amazing number of subject matter experts who have something to say. They've gone through the school of hard knocks, so to speak. They've hit 10,000 hours in playing with stuff, and you can consider them experts. And I'm going to share this now that I'm going to let Eric talk about this list of speakers he has here. There's a couple.
Yeah, one of the advantages of doing the QSO Today podcast, which I've been doing since 2014, I think I'll put up 341 tomorrow night, is that I can send out to my former guests invitations for speaking at the expo. So here's a list of, and I'll just go through it slowly, but we've got a whole probably 9 or 10 space and satellite speeches. Flex Radio will certainly have a whole auditorium for the entire Saturday of sessions. We have 4 build-a-thon workshops, live workshops with like Rex Harper, W1REX will be teaching how to solder and then building one of his kits. David Kripe from the Central States QRP group has a project up, and of course Joe K0NEB will also have a workshop. So we're going to experiment with doing live build-a-thon workshops on the platform for the weekend as well. But there is a huge amount. There's 83 sessions that will be going. Some of them 6, 7, 8 concurrently. And then in addition, we've got the podcasters, the Ham Radio Workbench podcast with George, KJ6VU, for example, and Michael, who's on here, and Jeremy. They'll be on Friday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to do their podcast live to their audience. And then the Ham 2.0 group will be on there also concurrently. And then I think Saturday morning at 8 o'clock Pacific Time, 100 Watts in a Wire will be doing their podcast. So there's a lot of stuff happening at the expo in the auditorium. Now, the platform that we're using allows us to do 10 concurrent presentation seminars at the same time. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to go. But the great thing is that once the expo is over, it's on demand for 30 days. So you can go back and you can watch what you missed.
Right. Now you have to have a ticket to get to these. And that's how you get into the expo, right? So
that's right.
So we have to go purchase a ticket.
So the last time the expo was free, and we did that to see, it was an experiment last time. It's an experiment this time, except that the cost of the ticket is $10. It's not a lot of money. We polled our audience to see whether that was a fair price for a ticket. One of the reasons that we're selling tickets is these platforms that we're using. We've made $100,000 commitment for the next year on these platforms. So one of the ways that we can afford it is to sell a ticket, and to be able to offer this. And then we're also doing the expo again in August. So the expo will be coming a two times a year semi-annual event.
Right. And these take a fair bit of, I'll be blunt, the elephant in the room, revenue to run, right? There's a lot of stuff going around. It's not like you can just go out and buy an expo and say fill it full of speakers and everybody to go. There's a ton of customization here, and
there's a lot of it's a lot of work. I have 7 full-time employees working on the expo.
It's no different than any
than a
major
business.
Hamfest. Yeah,
that's right, exactly right. No, I think the Dayton Hamvention has 300 volunteers to pull that off. That's a huge event. But to put on a virtual expo on requires there's somebody in every department, in order to make sure that all happens. And I'm the guy that kind of makes sure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to do. And I have all my tasks as well. So it's a lot of work to put this on.
Now, in case you don't, well, it's pretty obvious. Eric's in Israel, so when he's dealing a lot with us in North America, so we have some interesting time zone challenges when we want to get together and get on the phone. And I find his calendar seems to be open a lot of time at 3:00 in the morning, my time. So
yeah, I try not to publish that I'm available. It's hard for me. I'm an old man now, so it's very hard for me to to be up at 3-4 in the morning. It throws off my week.
That's funny. And Eric, is there anything else you want to bring forward on this? And we won't keep you because I know it's what, just after 9:00 your time?
No, it's after 10:00 my time.
10. Oh, of
in the
course it
evening.
is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I think we've got speakers. We've got great sponsors like Flex Radio. I think we're doing, as I say, we're iterating. We're always trying to make the next one better. We'll learn from this one. We're very good at keeping documentation and stats and surveys. I've got a great partner, Brad Grob, who's not a ham yet, but he should be. He has a degree in electronic engineering, so he should be a ham. And he's very good at the marketing side, so he kind of helps me understand what I should be doing, and when I think we should do something. Oh, there is something that we're doing different, Michael, is that we have an inbound call center that we've put on the system for exhibitors, so that if an exhibitor is working with distributors, for example, and he wants to sell product online, it's each exhibitor can choose whether they want this or not. But if they can have a buy now button, that buy now button opens up a video conference to an inbound call center, their distributor. It could be one of the many that who will answer the phone and take their order. So we're trying to make this a very visual video experience at every level.
Perfect.
So that's what we're doing that's different from last time. We're trying to eliminate the text chat for the most part, except to say, hey, go over to, table number 27.
Perfect. When the list of 80 speakers, when will you have that in a position that you can sort of publish online so people can go through and see if there's something there they want to start, even if it's just to know who's speaking, because I know the scheduling is still an ongoing process.
So the speaker list is up, but the speaker times are kind of changing as we're finalizing the schedule. So don't push the button yet. I've got a young man who's working with me now who's an amazing programmer who hopefully by tomorrow will actually have the schedule up so that you can even push an iCal button next to the session that you want, and it'll go to your Google Calendar or to your Apple Calendar so that you won't forget to go to that session. I'm waving to Carol. I see Carol in the Carol Milazzo, KP4MD, who was one of my amazing guests on the QSO Today podcast. Hi, Carol. This is fun. And Howard, I see Howard AE3T. How about that? This is fun. I've never StreamYarded before, so it's good to see people in the audience that are saying hello.
Yeah, there's also the ones about can mic be louder, you know. So I've added, I've increased my gain a little bit. Um, well, that's really cool. We're actually looking forward to it. It's a, you know, it for us as a vendor, it's a lot of work too. There's a fair number of a lot of time in this. It's almost my full time. The next few weeks, I'm actually doing a talk on a little bit different stuff. We're going to do a bit more Node-RED stuff because I'm getting a bit of request for that.
Mm.
But I'm going to talk about drones and how to use them to lay antennas in trees, or at least what I've done. And I've been launching things over trees with, you know, water bottles and wrenches, you know, where you go like this and throw it up, and hopefully it goes where you want. To potato cannons, to air guns. I've used them all, and but I'll talk a little bit. You know, I'll plug myself about what's available today in, you know, right over the counter, and you can get yourself a really nice airdrop device to drop a fishing line over a tree. And
Now,
it's Chris. It's the 12th, which is Friday. The 13th might be my birthday, and the 14th. That's come. I can never forget the date
right. So
of March.
the dates are in Pacific time, but I'll also have them in GMT, so you can make the calculation. If we get really clever, we'll try to figure out how to give you the time in your time zone, you know, by your GPS coordinates or something like that. But you know, that's kind of that's on my wish list. But every time I wish for something new, it pushes the other projects back. So I have to be controlled when it comes to feature requests.
God, we have that same problem, and I love the iCal, by the way, because that's the only way in Dayton or anywhere else I've been. If my phone didn't alarm to go, oh, you know, you need to go watch the RTTY one, you know, type of thing, and
Well,
so
but
I
the great
talked to
thing is,
them.
if you miss one, you can always go back and watch it later. Oh, and one of the things is that we're doing differently this time with the presentations is that you don't have to move in order to do the Q&A. So when the presentation is finished, then the speaker will be there live to be able to take questions. And we even have on this platform the ability to, if someone raises their hand and they absolutely have something to say, we can bring them to the stage, and they also can be on stage and ask their question or make a comment.
I'm looking so forward to that because sometimes there are people I know that are better at it than I am. I want them to come up and say something, and good. Hey, Gene, I hope you're doing okay. You've got water and power. You know, I've obviously the office is in Austin and they're struggling with a lot of resources not available. So so I don't know where Rolette, Texas is, but you know, we think of you. Really, it's frustrating for Tim and I and others and other hams that work for the company that are not in Texas, and we can't. You know, I don't know. Hams just want to help, and we can't help. We can't get in the car and take a generator down or bring down a couple hundred gallons of water, right? And we're feeling that pain, but
Yeah, this is
it's
where you
hard.
want to know how to connect your Prius to your house power, right?
Well, he did say, or your Tesla. He said he would be able to at some point in time. So you know, backfeed it into a inverter transfer switch. But well, Eric, that's all I have. Unless there's anything else you want to mention, and I know you. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, and goodbye, everyone. I hope I see you at the expo.
Thanks, Eric. Take care. And 73, everybody.